Hello and welcome to PM Express Personality Profile. Today I'm particularly excited. I think it's been the biggest coincidence in a long time that I've ever encountered. Now we're going to go for a quick break, and when we come back, I'll introduce my guest to you and tell you about the coincidence. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the show. My name is Nana Ansakwa, and today I'm particularly excited, as I told you. Why is that? Now, we went shooting on a location. Personality profile is that one time that you have a license to delve into somebody's private life, his professional life, maybe certain questions that under normal circumstances you may not be able to ask because you might be like you've been too inquisitive. But this gives you the license. Anyway, when I was getting the directions to location, 10 left, 10 right, and I thought, I think I know this route. And I arrived at the house. And it's no other than my own senior brother in family, in chieftaincy. For those of you who know and those of you who don't know, I happen to be the chief of Edumasan in Akwemo. Now, dividing me and my next town, Pese, is just a cemetery. And there is one business tycoon, lodge grand master, a fine lawyer, not practicing, but still a lawyer, attended school in Stanford, and within the business fraternity is very, very popular. Probably outside the business fraternity, you don't know that. He's done so many and achieved so many heights in life. And I think we need to delve in there and find out more. It would inspire the youth and people growing up to think, oh, really? So are all these people amongst us achieving this and we haven't heard of them? And that's why I'm here. Folks, I am going to introduce to you Pesehede. I will also introduce to you the Grand Master. I will introduce to you a business tycoon. I will introduce to you Yahweh J, and that's just a bottle of snap. I'll pay for that. Otwasuom Osae Nyanpong, the sixth. Ohene Akwaba.
Thank you.
I thought this is a coincidence because, I don't think ever within the television industry has there been this coincidence where a chief of Edumasan has to interview a chief of Pese, and the only thing dividing us is literally a cemetery. You know, we literally live on the same land, and I was very excited because I as well I'm just going to talk to my big brother, so well, that's it. So that's why I am here, to delve into your private life, things I may not be able to ask if I was in your palace. So first, again, I want to say thank you for allowing us this opportunity.
Thank you, Nana. The excitement is maybe higher on my side. You're welcome. And
good.
I will grant you every question you ask. I'll answer it as candidly as I can. Thank you.
Very good, very good. So let's just start from the beginning till now. Now, again, you know, I have family from Ekropong, you have family from Ekropong. We have so much in coincidence. I grew up in South Odoko, you lived in South Odoko. Our paths are always crossing to the point where even at my installation, you were there to grace the occasion.
Yes.
Growing up, you know, did you grow up with a silver spoon in your mouth? You know, wealthy dad, plenty of money to spare?
I grew up at the other end of the scale.
There was a spoon, but it wasn't silver.
There was no spoon at all.
Oh, my God.
Yes. If you recall, my father served in the Second World War. After the war, he was demobilized. But he served with the Signals Regiment during the war, and he acquired a profession. He knew how to send messages by Morse code.
Okay.
So when he was demobilized, he found himself working at the post office doing telegrams. And for my mother, everybody knows that she used to prepare and sell cocoa. So I have this nickname, Cocoa Rubber, which I never want to let go. So I couldn't have been raised at the silver spoon end. I was
No.
at the disadvantaged end of life.
And did you grow up in a big family? Are you siblings-wise?
That is relative. I had siblings, 7 of them. But as we're growing up, I kept losing them.
Okay.
Yes.
Your education, Coco Rabba, sending telegram at the post office. There's not much at home to give you a good education. Even though back then there was an even opportunity for everyone, unlike it is today, it would still have been tough. What schools did you go and how was your school life?
There was a school in Ekropong called Practice School.
Mm-hmm.
I was enrolled in Ekropong Practice School, which is in fact a primary school, in January 1957. That was class 1. I went through the 6 years, and I can remember my class 1 teacher and some of my class 1 classmates. Then...
All that time you were Coco Rabba?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes. And in those days, cocoa was sold in calabash.
Yes.
Yes. Now I see it's being sold in polythene bags.
It lost its authenticity.
Yes. And the taste is gone. It used to be sold in calabash. And my class 1 teacher, who indeed is still alive.
Do you still have contact?
Oh, yes.
That's brilliant.
Oh, yes.
That's brilliant.
He attended my 60th birthday celebration.
He must have been proud.
Oh, yes. He's called Teacher Secretary. Yes. He was my first point of contact with formal education. Yes.
So you go through to class 6?
Yes. And then I go to the demonstration middle school, also in Ekropong, for 2 years. Then I sat for the then common entrance examination. And indeed, I remember my index number.
You don't.
1343001.
Is it 2B pencil or is it HB pencil? You know, there was this particular lead that you had to use.
You see, you would use the 2B if you wanted a darker color. And the HB was for graphs and other geometry.
Okay. But why would you remember your index number? Was there something particular, I mean, some tension or fear of the exam? Why would you remember your index number?
You needed to remember your index number before you would enter. Yes, to find your desk at the common entrance examination. Yes. And it was indeed the first examination that I took that was beyond school level, because it was nationwide.
Okay.
Then,
obviously you passed, moved on to secondary school.
Yes, and I was blessed with indeed attending the best school ever at the Sado College.
I'm not even, at this point, I'm not even going to argue.
Well,
and how was secondary school funded?
Secondary school, you would pay school fees.
Now there's 7 of you, and we have Daddy in the post office. Mm-hmm. We have Mommy still selling cocoa. So how was that?
I think they made a choice. They decided to sponsor the first girl amongst us and the first boy.
Okay.
To secondary school.
Okay. Hard decision.
Yes.
Hard decision.
Yes.
And then university.
University of Ghana, then School of Administration, now University of Ghana Business School.
Cool.
1971.
Okay.
I finished in 1974. I did my national service with a company which is no longer in existence, Rano Plus Limited. Then joined International Tobacco
Okay.
as a financial accountant. Then after International Tobacco, I decided to venture into private business.
Before we go into private business, I've seen behind your car Stanford. Now, is it you or is it your children?
For every parent, what you are not able to achieve, you want your child to achieve. Yes. I never set foot at Stanford as a student, but I have my daughter in Stanford Law School.
That's beautiful.
You would see my other car, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Similarly,
MIT?
my son went to MIT.
Well, I guess it's in the right place, because if the post office daddy and the cocoa selling mom could push you this far, then you owe it to push them that further.
Yes.
So I think you have really raised the bar, and I don't know what university your children have to put your grandchildren to, but we'll get there someday. Maybe one day when you invite us, we'll come and talk about that.
Oh, sure.
So private business.
Yes.
What was your first private venture that you did? Because I know you're a very successful businessman. I mean, that's not...
I wish I didn't have to say this on air, but my first private venture was to produce what we used to call latrine pans.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. District assemblies had public lavatories, and they needed these galvanized pans to collect whatever, and they had sanitary laborers who would remove the pans. And I saw that there was a need for it. So I started producing those pans.
Wow. Now I am going to fast.
So
forward.
indeed it was fabrication, metal fabrication.
Metal fabrication.
Yes, because besides the pans, I also produce galvanized water tanks.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I'm surprised that didn't catch on, considering weather, because most metal tanks rust. So you were thinking, like, in this side of the world, we would have used more galvanized tanks, but I don't know, why did it not catch on? Or
It did.
It did?
It did.
Okay.
It did. In fact, it got to a point I replaced the galvanized sheets with aluminum sheets. Yes.
Okay.
But technology made us obsolete when the plastics came in. Yes.
Okay. Now, Nyanpong, let me forward to now. Now, I know you are independent power supplier or independent power producer.
Yes and no.
And I don't think there's many of them in Ghana. How did it start? And where do you, which industries or who do you supply to? To the state, to individuals, to individual companies? I want to know how you started and, how many of these plants you have and who you supply to. You see, now I won't be able to answer this.
It started in a very simple way. My son, who went to Massachusetts Institute of Technology, did mechanical engineering, had been employed by a world-renowned consultancy company, and I stood at the threshold where I would lose him to the diaspora. Mm-hmm. So I called him and said, what would entice you to come to Ghana? Then he came up with this idea of the power plant, power company, independent power producer. I listened to him, and I saw that there was a challenge there for him and for me as well. And since I like challenges, we decided to go into power production. At that point, there were so many people parading the corridors of power, claiming to be power producers and wanting power purchase agreements from government. And then they would go for sovereign guarantees before they would go to the bank to raise money. Yes. And we didn't want to reinvent the spinning wheel. So we simply cobbled some money together and bought some gas turbines. So we also decided that since there were too many people going after government contracts to put power on the national grid, we should target companies which needed reliable power
to do business
at competitive prices. So we approached so many companies, but we didn't have a track record until we did a presentation to Golden Star Resources in Bogoso, and they got excited. Yes.
Keep knocking on the doors.
I hear as I say, is history.
It's history. Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
So our first power plant was constructed in Bogoso in the western region with a capacity of 35 megawatts.
Okay.
Yes.
And that was the first one.
That's the first one.
Which is the biggest one you have so far?
Relative. In the sense that Bogoso is installed 35 megawatts. The second one, which was commissioned in July 2012, is for Unilever Ghana. Unilever wanted a combined heat and power solution, and we gave them that. So we give them...
So heat as in steam or heat as in...
Yes, in steam. Okay. In their soap making and in other factory applications, we give them their required steam and their power needs.
And they're happy.
They are very happy with us.
Now, Nyanpong, how have you been able, because you have also been Pesahene for the last 30 years, overlord of the Kamna people for equally that time. How have you been able to juggle, because it's a huge responsibility, if I should say, managing people or being a traditional ruler. How have you been able to juggle a successive business and a successive reign? I mean,
they demand different resources and different, shall I say, attention. Managing a traditional area, managing people, and as a chief generally, I'm the last person to speak.
Yes.
I will listen to every opinion, and then I will decide. But chieftaincy has its own challenges. You know, there are other chiefs. I have met chiefs who beat their chests and say, oh, I am the overlord of this traditional area. This chief owes allegiance to me. This chief owes... And then I sit back and look at him and I say, you've lost your focus. If you are a chief and you are not able to move your people from point A to point B in advancement at the time that you have to leave and join your ancestors, you would have failed.
Now, you don't need to blow your own trumpet on that. I'm very much aware of your input in person and your contribution towards Aquamomine. I am absolutely aware of it. And I think this is just from me, just say, thank you, for all the development you brought to the area. I'm the newcomer there. I haven't been brought my Ambantamusa. I'll bring it. I'll bring it. I'll bring my Ambantamusa. Litigations in chieftaincy. Every day there's a bickering here, bickering there. You have a multi-million business to run. Equally, you need to pay the same attention to all these litigations where sometimes you think it's just born out of ego or pettiness. How do you not say, look, just let it go, let me go and run my business? How do you stop your business and come and sit down to listen to this?
Once you've taken the oath to become a chief, you must let your people benefit from you. And the benefit comes only when you decide to tell the truth. Okay. I have been on so many judicial committees in Akwamu. And judgments from my judicial committees never get reversed on appeal. So far, none of them has been reversed on appeal. You need to simply put, with the clarity of mind and a singular purpose, to say the truth.
The truth.
That is all.
Every 6 weeks is Akwasidai. For those who are not very well versed in traditional, every 6 weeks is Akwasidai, and it happens 9 times in a year. And as a chief, it is imperative that every Akwasidai you travel back to your province or your district or your area and perform your Akwasidai rites, even though when you say that it looks like very heathenism, but no, all you do is you meet with your people and talk to them and plan what is the next, which is the way forward. And that's what you do. And it happens 9 times in a year. And you travel 1 million times in a year. How do you juggle so that you don't miss any Akwasidai? Because I always see you. Anytime I'm going, I see you, we always meet. Hello, Ohene, and then you go. So how do you juggle that? Do you plan your diary so that every 6 weeks you're free? Or how do you do that? Because it is a commitment on its own.
Yes, it is. But, I've been doing this for 30 years. So Akwasidai will really begin on the Saturday and then end Sunday late afternoon. So for 18 days in the year, if you're going to devote that to meeting your people, learning of their challenges, coming up with solutions, it's a small price to pay for being called Nana.
Very true.
Yes.
Very, very true. Grand Master.
Oh, that is the latest one.
Now, folks, we're going to go for a quick break. Now, I am sat here with a Grand Master. This is the closest I've ever been to any Grand Master in the Freemasons. Now, I know as soon as I say Freemasons, you have all these perceptions running through your head. So do I. When we come back, we're going to ask all those questions. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome back to PM Express Personality Profile. Now, as I said in the beginning in my intro, I told you there are certain questions that I could not have just walked in Nyanpong's house. Yes, sit down. I'm going to talk about human skulls and skulls. Well, but here, I have the license to do that. But I know that's exactly what you're also thinking. Because sometimes, it's not if you meet somebody and the guy is a Freemason, you can just, sit down and let me ask you all these things. This is our opportunity. Now, I am talking to the Grand Master of the Grand Lodge in Ghana.
Yes.
Now, ever since I've known you, and I've known you for a long time, I don't know when you started, but you've always been Freemason. How long have you been Freemason?
Not too long, only 30 years.
No wonder. And were you introduced to it, or did you just thought, oh yeah, that's a nice society, let me go and join it?
Actually, I went in search of Freemasonry.
before you go, what is Freemason anyway?
Oh, Freemasonry is a society of men who primarily must believe in God before they are admitted,
Okay.
wanting to...
So you can't be an atheist?
No.
Okay.
And a triple no.
Okay.
If you do not believe in God, you cannot be a Freemason. You must believe that this world was brought into being or created by God. That is a basic prerequisite before you can become a Freemason. And then we will not question your faith.
Okay.
Because...
Let's go, you went in search of Freemason.
Yes.
You read about it, or you've seen people join it? Or
I had seen people join, and so I approached, shall I say, a brother, and I expressed my interest in it. He talked to me consistently for about a year, and then he saw that my interest would not wane, so he introduced me into Freemasonry.
Have you regretted?
Not at all. I will always thank him for introducing me to Freemasonry.
Wow. Does it make you a better person, or does it just... It's just another, like you join, let's say, if I joined a library, or I joined a tennis club, it makes me fitter or anything, but joining the Freemason, does it make you a better person than you were before, or is it just another opportunity to meet brothers, as you call it?
No. Freemasonry will make good men better.
Let me go back a bit to, you need to believe in God to be a Freemason.
Yes, you do.
Who determines your faith?
It's your personal choice.
So
we will not determine your faith.
Belief
is not susceptible to empirical verification.
Okay.
Yes. So I will not contest your belief in God if you were a Muslim, or you were Jewish, or you were Hindu. You are a man like I am.
Okay. Now, Freemason, the reason why I'm slowing down is because I know there are thousands of people who have so much negative perception about this society. Is it a spiritual society, would you say?
I don't see any spirituality in it. If there is going to be any spirituality, maybe it's post-grandmastership. But after 30 years, I've seen all that there is in Freemasonry. And there's no spirituality in it.
I think what worries people who are not Freemason is you have a lot of instruments and gadgets and swords and symbols and stuff which, one would say, well, if you believed in God, do you necessarily have to have all these gadgets to either prove or disprove your belief?
No. It is true, yes, we have instruments. Shall we call them emblems? Yes. But they are meant to teach us the practicality of life, your relationship to God, to your fellow man, and then to yourself. That is why we use these instruments.
Do you, use the Bible?
Oh, indeed. The first book that you will ever see in any lodge room is the Bible.
I see. Why is there a perception that there's darkness with Freemason?
Indeed, Freemasonry introduces light to the ignorant.
So
there's no darkness at all in Freemasonry. But you see, it is human nature to want to know why doors are closed.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. When we go for meetings and we lock our doors, then they would want to know what is going on in the halls. But you see, in all societies, in all organizations, if you don't belong to it, you're not invited to take part in the affairs of the society.
We drive past churches every day. We're not necessarily belonging to that church, but the doors are wide open and you see them singing and dancing, and they're not particularly...
Stop there. Churches will open their doors when church service is going on.
Yes.
Do they open their doors when the churches are in session?
No, but they don't particularly close it. I mean, like conceal it. Like shut it so that you don't see what is going in there.
Yes, but you are not invited there all the same. And if you go, they will ask you what you want and probably show you the exit.
Not necessarily.
Oh, if the church is in session.
They will just ask you to wait for the preacher to finish so you come and sit.
No. I'm not talking about when there is a church service going on. When the elders are meeting to decide your fate.
I'll come back to that. How popular is Freemason in Ghana? How many lodge groups do you have? What's the total number?
Substantial. But we are not even concerned with numbers. We are not a political party. We are never going to contest any elections.
Quality, not quantity.
Yes. We are not interested in bringing so many people into membership of Freemasonry. Yes. If you're interested, you come. We admit you. You meet our terms. We admit you.
Do you have to be educated?
Indeed, to a level, yes, because we do a lot of learning in Freemasonry. So you need to be educated.
For your own good.
For your own good. Otherwise, you will not fit into the craft.
Also, you find that judges, army generals, indeed the Otumfuo, they're all big people in society who happen to find themselves in this society. Is it something about it that attracts them, or what is the link? What's the relationship between the big in society and Freemasons?
Let me sound a note of caution here. I can only vouch for the people I have met in lodge meeting to be Freemasons. So if an army general is a Mason, so to say, and I have never met him at a lodge meeting, I can never say that he's a Mason.
Okay.
Right.
Now, there is a lot of traveling. And Nyanpong, I've spoken to you several times, and, I've invited you several times. Oh, no, I'll be in Scotland. I'll be in Angola. I'll be in South Africa. I'll be in Namibia. Every country in this globe. I won't be able to make it, my brother, because I'll be here. And every time, I think about 90% of the time, it's a travel for Freemason rather than business. 90% of the time, your travels that I know of, you're going for a meeting somewhere, and
yes, indeed, I do travel in the course of my Masonic activities.
So how would the ordinary man fit in there? You won't be able to travel to these meetings. They have to wait for you to come back and tell them what...
Freemasonry is an international fraternity. If you're a member of a lodge in Ghana, you can attend any meeting of Freemasons wherever dispersed over the face of the earth.
And you're allowed?
Oh, yes.
And welcome?
Oh, yes. You only have to prove to them that indeed you are a Mason, and you'll be welcome.
Proof? Certificate?
Yes.
Sign?
Both Signed certificate. Signed certificate. Don't think of any signs like I can see from your face. You are looking at.
I was waiting for, something like that or something like that,
Well, I don't think that is what lodges look for before they admit you into their meetings.
But you would know if somebody was a lodge member, even though you haven't met him before. You could
Probably.
They could do something for you to know.
Probably. Yes.
Wink twice.
No.
Thumbs up.
Not at all.
Handshake.
Maybe.
Well, shake me. Let me know if you're a Freemason. Well, it's like.
It's an ordinary handshake.
Oh, but you haven't gripped my hand. Could that be it? I don't see you gripping my hand like I've gripped yours,
You're okay. If you are the challenger, then tell me the sign.
Well, you're not gripping my hand.
So you are not a Mason.
Well, folks, I don't know what the sign is, and if I find it, believe you me, I will tell you.
Listen, the objective of Freemasonry, brotherly love, relief, and then truth. That is all.
There's this also, and everything I'm asking you is a perception that I've grown up with, and I'm sure viewers have also grown up with, that you get a case, you turn up in court, there's the big judge there with his wig, you shake hands, you realize that, oh, that's my Freemason brother. The chances are, you're not going to slapped with the same judgment as if you were not a Freemason. How true is that?
What would happen if two Freemasons are in litigation?
What would happen if two Masons are
in litigation?
I'll probably end it there and then.
Well,
end it there and then.
Well, but let me say this. I have been Grandmaster for how many days? 5 days. And yesterday, somebody accosted me and asked me, "Oh, Grandmaster, I hear now when you are in your study and anybody chances on you, they will see smoke and steam emanating from your forehead."
You see, so I'm not the only one with the perception. You see, all you guys out there have the perception.
We know.
Smoke
we know.
bellowing from
your
forehead.
We are the receiving end of bad perception.
What are the do's and don'ts? Every society has something that you're not supposed to do. Are you allowed to eat pork?
It's a personal choice.
It's a personal choice. Are you allowed to sacrifice? Can you sacrifice a sheep?
I personally do that as a chief.
Libation?
I do that.
I know you do. I've seen you do that. I'm just trying to find out something that we do in everyday life, which, what are the rules? What are you not supposed to do as a Freemason? There must be some rules.
You're not supposed to defraud a brother.
Okay.
You must uphold the honor and the chastity of your brother's wife,
okay,
daughter, or other near relative.
Leviticus chapter 19.
You see, you are a grandson of a moderator of the Presbyterian Church. I knew you would quote at some point.
So basically you abide by Leviticus chapter 19.
More than that.
More than that.
Yes.
You don't go near a woman in her cycle. Is it in the lodge?
No. We don't admit women, so we would not make these rules for our brethren.
No, but at home, there might be women at home.
If you think it's your choice,
the lodge does not.
The Lord will not impose such an obligation on you at all. Yes. But as I said, you see, the Lord teaches you to maintain a very good relationship with your God, your fellow man, and
rising through the ranks.
truth to yourself. Yes.
How many ranks do you go through to become the Grandmaster?
Interestingly, after you're a master mason,
That's the
yes,
literally
that is like the basic
constable rank.
Yes, it's like the constable rank from which you can become the master of your lodge, and then by other promotions, you could be elected Grandmaster.
No, from the first rank is master.
No.
But what would you enter as? Just
Entered apprentice.
An entered apprentice.
Entered apprentice.
And
then
then
after some time, and you show more interest and you learn a bit more, you become a fellow of the craft.
Fellow of the craft.
And then you become a master mason. Mm-hmm. You see, after you have become a master mason, then you can travel outside your lodge to visit any lodge on the surface of the earth.
How many years, if you entered as a fellow...
As an entered apprentice?
Entered apprentice. Do you have to serve 4, 5, 6 years before you can... What's the minimum
The master
time?
mason, it will normally take you 18 months.
If you're dedicated.
Yes, to become a master mason.
Mason.
Then after that, within your own lodge, you begin to serve in roles like an inner guard, like a deacon, then you become a warden, and then if you show a lot of promise, then your brethren will decide to make you a master of the lodge. Okay.
Which of the positions are more exciting? Is it the entry point where, oh my God, now I'm part of it, I can't believe I'm part of it, or the Grandmaster with, my goodness, look at where I am? Which is the more exciting part?
With the benefit of hindsight, the most interesting position that I encountered in Freemasonry is when I became master of my lodge.
Okay. Why?
It is the highest position your lodge can give to you. And then you become involved in the administration of the group of people which is given the name a lodge. You can take decisions to advance the interests of your lodge. You could even take a decision to build a temple or a hall.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Let's say it's a Saturday and we've come to a lodge. You know, we've come in, we've closed the doors. So, Master Lodge, what do? Do you mount the people and say, well, today we're reading from Freemason's book, page 5 to 10. Everybody open your book and then we go through it. Thou shalt not take somebody's wife, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not fraud.
There's nothing like Freemason's book. We have a book of constitutions, which is published. And now with the advent of the internet, you can access it anytime on your iPad. You can read the Grand Lodge of Ghana Constitution. But the only book that you will see open in a lodge room is the Bible.
What I'm trying to find out is, the enthusiasm in which, and the pride in which, and it's almost, I even now want to come and become a Freemason from the enthusiasm. But I just want to find out. On a Saturday, I've come there, we've locked the doors, we're in there for an hour and a half.
3 hours.
3 hours. What are we talking about? Are we fidgeting with our gadgets? Are we learning something new that we haven't learned before? Are we planning our next travel to Namibia for?
During that time in the lodge room, or the temple as we call it, we'll be teaching ourselves lessons about making us better with symbols to guide us. See, the basic lesson that you will start learning is that, you know, the day is made up of 24 hours.
24.
So your first lesson will be divide the 24 hours into 3. 8 hours you must work to earn a living.
Listen.
8 hours rest and recreation. And the other 8 hours not forgetting your God.
And that's a principle in life. I mean, that was very deep, because it was actually answered what my next question was going to be. It's like, are you studying the deeper meaning of life? Rather than just the everyday, I wake up 6 o'clock, go back to bed at 9 o'clock, and, you know, that monotony. Are you learning the deeper meaning of life, which the average man probably hasn't paid attention to?
Yes. Masonry teaches you the purpose of life. It will teach you, as I said, basically your relationship with the great architect of the universe, your relationship to your neighbor, your relationship to yourself, how you should come to your neighbor's aid, whether he is a Mason or not, if he is in difficulty. And that brings up charity as a purpose in Freemasonry.
Mm-hmm.
Freemasons, you will see, come together to donate to hospitals, to schools, to deprived communities. We do all this so that our fellow human beings would be more comfortable.
I mean, that sounds very much like Christianity, a way of life.
And what is wrong with that?
No. There's nothing wrong with that at all. So I'm just leading to, if you're doing all this good, why is it that we who are not Freemasons have the wrong perception about what you do? Because everything that you said, it's what every good Muslim or any ethical person would preach that. So why don't we attribute these characters to you? Now, you're a modern man. Are you going to do a PR for Freemasons to project a different image out there to the public, or are you just going to leave the public to think what they want to think?
Well, it's an onerous task. Perceptions are difficult to change. But you would have realized that a few years ago, there was this news in the public domain that Swedro Government Hospital was using a domestic refrigerator to store blood.
Yeah.
How many churches are in Ghana?
Thousands.
How many get registered every day? I'm not saying this to chastise any church, but I just want you to know that it was the Freemasons which went to the aid of Swedro Government Hospital and donated a blood bank refrigerator.
Otwasuom, do you think that stories like this should, because I'm sure this is just one out of many that you've done, should they make the graphic front page so that radio stations will pick it up and use it as a morning show, so people would then realize that, oh, so these guys were good guys after all?
Nana, you know, I think by our good works we will be known. And to really move on a PR vehicle to change the perceptions of people about Masonry, it will be an arduous task. Probably it won't leave me any time to really administer my Grand Lodge. So I'll leave that to the professionals to do it. But for me, now that I'm Grand Master, I have to make sure Grand Lodge of Ghana progresses from the point where I am taking over, and in 4 years, when I have to hand over, I'll hand over a much more developed and better, well-equipped Grand Lodge to my successor.
Otwasuom, you are a traditional ruler, a chief. You are now a Grand Master Lodge. So the last thing people attribute to you is Christianity. Are you a Christian?
Oh, yes. Now you want to talk about my faith. Yes, I am indeed a Christian. I believe God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit.
Amen. Now my next question is, I have seen you at Derbas. Most chiefs will turn up at a Derba with your drums, your Fonton from, your impinting. You always turn up with a brass band playing Presbyterian songs. And indeed, on 2 occasions that I was doing a festival, you have given me a brass band to play me, Presbyterian songs. Now, why is that?
Indeed, I'm not a Presbyterian. Let's clear that.
Okay.
I am Anglican. Mm-hmm. It just happens that the brass bands that I all engaged
happen to play
Presbyterian songs. and
but I'm not complaining about that for obvious reasons.
Yes, since you were named after your grandfather. Indeed, I think he was a Mason.
Was he?
Yes, he was.
I see. I need to go and find out. And I've learned something today. I need to go and find out.
Yes, yes. My appeal to the churches, particularly the Presbyterian Church, the Methodist Church, they should stop fighting us. We mean no harm to them, so they should stop fighting us.
Well, you put me right in my tracks, and I think it's got something to do with your Freemason charm, because I was just going to ask you, what's the balance between being a Mason and being a Christian? And if my grandfather was a moderator and happened to be a Mason, then how then do I ask that question? Which means somehow there's a balance there. You could be a Mason and a Christian, and
I'm sure you've seen the Presbyterian chapel that I built for the Presbyterian Church. Yes,
of course. And probably the biggest in the area.
Yes, and I think I got the impetus to build it from masonry.
I see.
Yes.
I see.
Yes. I probably wouldn't have done it if I were not a Mason. But the lessons I learned in Freemasonry encouraged me to build that chapel.
Nyanpong, see, coming from you, it will be very, very, should I say, to hold more water. There's so many people in Ghana today with every reason why not to succeed. My father wasn't there, my mother wasn't there, and there's a chunk of a youth in Ghana today who just live, as the sun rises and as the sun sets, and just wait for it to rise again. There you are, and you probably had less than what they have now, even though they are making all these excuses as to why they are failing and why you should have sympathy for me. From your own life story, Cocoa Rubber, father selling stamps in the post office.
Morse code.
It doesn't get lower in the ladder of life than that. But here you are. You have a child in Stanford, you have a child in MIT, you're building, an industrial park in Tema, which we didn't even get time to talk about. You're building a second industrial park.
Industrial park I want to talk about. It's a development of 14 acres of industrial space.
Wow.
In Tema. That's the first phase. Mm-hmm. It is now fully occupied.
Oh, mm-hmm.
All you have to do is we have provided a space. You can come in, talk to our business development managers, and presto, if you have equipment, you install it, and you begin your factory. It is multi-purpose.
Otwasuom, 30 seconds. If somebody wanted to come to that industrial park, who do they get to? And then we wrap up with something profound to the youth to say, you know what, do not blame your parents' downfall. There is a window out there, and go for it. We have only 30 seconds to do that. So where do we get to this industrial park?
www.industrialparkafrica.com.
Good. Now the youth, the ones that are so hopeless and can't see any future, what should they do?
Oh, they should take the bull by the horns. I mean, there's no substitute for hard work. And if you think that by walking the streets with your trousers below your hips and that manna is going to fall from heaven, you would descend to the bowels of the earth without achieving anything. You must work hard. You must take education seriously. That is the only thing that breaks bonds, that releases the energy in you to become what you want to be.
Brotherly love, relief,
and truth.
Folks, this is PM Express, and I have enjoyed being up close and personal with the Grand Master of the Grand Lodge in Ghana. I'm going to do a final handshake before I go and see if I can detect it. And if I do indeed, I'll let you know. It's been intriguing. But the bit I like is for the hopeless, where he started from and where he is now. And if indeed it's the same blood and heart and lungs and same air that he's breathing through his nostrils, then I'm sure you out there also have hope. And these are some of the things that we have to latch on in society. I am so privileged. I've lived with this guy from South Odoko, Ekropon, next door, Pese, Nedumasa, and I've never been this inquisitive in his life. I've enjoyed this show, and I'm so sure you do. But before I say goodbye, Otwasuom, I don't see anything different in this handshake.
At all.
I'm a lodge guy, so shake me as if I was lodge. Anybody would have done that. I can't find anything. Guys, thanks for tuning in, and I'm sure we'll be back again on Monday with another edition of PM Express. My name is Nana Ansakwa, and I was talking to Otwasuom Osae Nyanpong, the 6th Pesahene business tycoon, Yahweh J, that's a bottle of Schnapp now, 02, and it's been wonderful. See you soon.